5.6 million Instagram followers, his very own sneaker for sale, 2 stints as a pro overseas and 1 as a pro in the States, and a reality TV show documenting every step of the way? LaMelo Ball has unquestionably had one of the most unique paths to the NBA ever. While his peers were worried about copping the new Xbox game or figuring out how to ask their crush to prom, Melo had his eyes on much bigger dreams, becoming an NBA superstar. This is the story of LaMelo and how he went from that kid with the big hair to the future of basketball.
Game point, y'all. He don't know what to do with the combo.
What combo?
LaMelo Ball is no new name to most of you. You've been keeping up with him since he was a kid. You know his brothers, Lonzo and LiAngelo, and you definitely know his pops, LeVar.
The best coach ever.
His dad first put a basketball in Melo's hands when he was just 4 years old.
There you go.
Since he was a baby, he's always been my entertainer.
LeVar had big dreams for his youngest son and believed at an early age that he would one day be the best of the bunch. LaMelo always played up with his older brothers, and by 7th grade, he was playing 17 and under AAU basketball alongside them.
He's 12.
Young Melo never really played on the national circuit during his middle school days, so there's not a ton to be found on him back then. But still, the 12-year-old ball boy had the confidence to carry a room.
My name is LaMelo Ball. I'm 12 years old. I get buckets.
By age 14, LaMelo began his freshman school year at Chino Hills High School, where he started on the varsity squad alongside both his brothers and his cousin Andre Ball, even though he only stood 5'10" and looked like a little kid playing against young men. LaMelo held his own as a freshman. In his first game, Melo dropped 27 points as a starter. Later that season, he had 26 in a win against Sierra Canyon for the CIF Southern Section Division title. The Chino Hills boys would go on to finish the season 35-0 and claim a state championship along with a mythical national championship. While senior brother Lonzo held the reins of the offense, Melo did his thing with 16 points and 4 assists per game. I wouldn't call his freshman year LaMelo's coming out party, but I would say it was the beginning of something special. With Lonzo Ball off to UCLA for college, it was all Jello and Melo at Chino Hills year 2. The two brothers took turns dominating their opponents, and while Jello shined in moments, including one 72-point outbreak, it was LaMelo that captured the attention with one shot in particular. On December 26, 2016, young Melo made headlines everywhere when he pulled up from half court right off the tip ball at the beginning of the game. Nothing but net. The whole world picked up the viral clip and people were starting to be intrigued by the cocky sophomore taking over high school basketball. Still, it wasn't until later in the season that Melo really exploded. In February of 2017, LaMelo and Chino Hills suffered their first L in years battling against Oak Hill Academy. Melo came back with a vengeance by dropping 92 points in his next game 3 days later. The second most single game points in California high school history. It was official. Melo Ball mania had arrived. The rest of LaMelo's sophomore season was a movie for real. He averaged 27 points and 10 dimes per game and went viral week after week and game after game. At the same time LaMelo's clout was rising, there was another young baller making waves across the country in South Carolina. A junior forward known by the name of Zion Williamson.
Hey, Sean, overtime, man.
While Melo was known for his score-at-will mentality, Zion was known for his death-defying dunks. Sheesh. Each player's fame kept growing all through 2017 and into the summer, until they would collide in a matchup considered the most hyped AAU basketball game in history. LaMelo Ball versus Zion Williamson at the Adidas Uprising Summer Championship in Las Vegas.
LaMelo, he's dropping 93 tonight.
Thousands pulled up to Cashman Arena to watch the showdown, including NBA stars like Dame Lillard, Trae Young, and of course Lonzo Ball. Kansas coach Bill Self called the showing unreal, saying he's never seen anything like it in AAU basketball before. Word is that even LeBron James had planned to pull up, but was encouraged not to after hearing of the overpacked venue and the hundreds more trying to get in from outside. LaMelo and Zion did not disappoint. The two traded buckets and pleased fans in the stands all game long. Zion would finish with 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals, while LaMelo had 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 dimes in a loss. Zion may have gotten the best of him that night, but if the day's event said anything, it's that this is a rivalry we could look forward to for many years to come.
That'd be cool if me and Zion were the future of the league.
That epic night in Vegas had only increased LaMelo's celebrity even more. While he finished out the summer playing with his dad's Big Baller program, big changes were coming in the fall. LaMelo was getting too much attention to be a regular high school student at this point. Alongside his dad, the family decided it was best that LaMelo be pulled from Chino Hills and be homeschooled for his junior year, focusing primarily on the young star's basketball future.
Why would I regret that? Melo was too big for the high school. Melo wants to be a pro player. So why go spend 7, 8 hours at school at recess and lunch and dealing with knuckleheads?
It was in this time that the family Facebook show Ball in the Family was a big hit, and LeVar had launched the family's Big Baller brand, which was fixing to release LaMelo's first signature shoe for several $100s. You know the family was cashing in on the overnight fame. But what about basketball? Where would LaMelo go to continue working on his game? At this point, Lonzo had just been drafted by the Lakers, but Jello was facing his own predicament.
LiAngelo was one of 3 UCLA freshmen accused of shoplifting.
The UCLA freshman got into some trouble with the basketball program after being arrested for stealing designer sunglasses on a team trip to China. Following the incident, the Ball family decided it was best Jello leave UCLA.
LiAngelo has decided to leave UCLA.
Still, no one could see what would come next. In December of 2017, the family announced that LaMelo and Jello Ball had signed to play pro with the Lithuanian Basketball League Prinai. Just like that, at 16 years young, LaMelo Ball was a pro ball player. The family's time in Lithuania didn't last too long though, in part because LaMelo only played 13 minutes per game, but also because LeVar had his fair share of disagreements with the team's head coach.
Everybody knows it was beef with me and coach, but it didn't start out like that. And like I said, we accomplished what we needed to accomplish, which is the boys getting better. The boys got better.
Following those short few months as a pro in Lithuania, 16-year-old LaMelo returned to the States and signed a contract to play with the Los Angeles Ballers. Wait, what? You heard that right. LaMelo will be playing for a team in a new American league, created by his father called the JBA.
Who the face of the JBA? LaMelo Ball.
The league was an alternative to players who didn't want to play collegiate ball, but instead wanted to make that paper ASAP. Ching ching! Unlike Lithuania, Melo balled out in the JBA. By this point, the Hooper had grown to be 6'6" and was developing an all-around game.
He's 6'1", 6'2", now he's 6'6", almost 6'7". He's still 16, so he's gonna grow another 2 or 3 inches. Then what?
Though the short-lived league itself wasn't quite the success they had hoped for, people were impressed by LaMelo, who was growing stronger and had added some bounce to his game. Get up, little bro. Okay, that's bouncy. Still, something was missing for LaMelo, who at just 16 had been stripped of any sense of normalcy in his upbringing. Sure, he drove a Lamborghini, and his family had moved into a newly built multi-million-dollar mansion in Chino Hills.
You at the BBB mansion, boy.
But still, he wanted a change for what was technically his senior year of high school. He wanted to be a kid again, even if just for a minute. Where there's a will, there's a way.
LeVar's youngest son, LaMelo, has returned to the U.S. after playing overseas to complete his senior year of high school.
In November of 2018, 17-year-old LaMelo shocked everyone again. This time announcing that he would be joining Spire Academy, a prep school in Geneva, Ohio.
And then the welcome wagon even showed up near the queue with a mock LeBron billboard put up by Overtime,
where he'd be playing under head coach Jermaine Jackson and alongside other well-known hoopers like Rocket Watts and 7'8" Robert Bobrovsky.
For me, last year that we're gonna have him as our teammate, I wouldn't believe it. So.
Melo balled out once again for Spire, where he averaged a triple-double and broke the internet night after night. He kept his previous ranking as a 5-star recruit. but lost his eligibility to play in events like the McDonald's All-American game because of his previous pro ball experience. Nevertheless, it was now once again clear LaMelo was the real deal. Following his senior season, there was one last big decision to be made. What would be next? LaMelo's past pro experiences, his hiring of an agent, and shoe release had made his college eligibility virtually out of the question. So LaMelo would have to get creative in what he would do for a year before a shot at the NBA. While the family considered China and even explored the G League, it was ultimately an Australian NBL ball club that would sign LaMelo.
Take my talents to the NBL and play for the Illawarra Hawks.
Excellent, over in Australia.
Yep, I just think it's the best route for me. I'm trying to be the #1 pick for the 2020 draft.
He'd be heading to New South Wales to play professionally and prove his worth to NBA scouts as the new point guard of the Illawarra Hawks.
I felt it was best for me, college, just a little different route, but I looked over this and then it just fitted me the best.
Now 18 years old and standing 6 feet 8 inches tall, he did just that. LaMelo surpassed the expectations of even those highest on him going into it. He was playing pro basketball in a well-respected league and just dominating against grown men.
They need a 3-ball.
LaMelo became the youngest player ever to record a triple-double in the NBL with a breakout game of 32 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists on November 25th. That, along with consistent play all season, pretty much solidified that it was time for the next step. It was time for LaMelo to enter the NBA draft.
With the 3rd pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select LaMelo Ball from Chino Hills, California.
LaMelo Ball has had one of the craziest journeys ever, and we've loved capturing every minute of it. From being with him in his debut against Zion, to hanging out with him in New York City before Lithuania, 2 overtime challenges,
Best player you ever hooped with?
LaMelo.
You feel me?
a lie detector test,
You legit think your dad could be Michael Jordan one-on-one?
and a trip to Spire Academy to visit him. LaMelo is very much a part of the OT family, and you know we're gonna stay rocking with our boy in the league. Best of luck, Melo. It's been quite the ride so far, and it's only still the beginning for LaMelo LaFrance Ball.
What's my government name for?
It's Melo here again. I'm spending way too much time at this little overtime house. It's time to get up out of here, man.
OT is taking over the world, y'all. You gotta get fitted head to toe like your boy. Whoo, yeah, I'm rocking that Overtime Fits Takeover collection. If you're trying to add it to yours, man, make sure you hit the link below in the description. I gotta go tell my mama I'm on overtime. Mama!